What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and thank God, hashtag Podtober is over. I'm so happy, relieved. I finally I'm going to have energy again. I don't have it right now because I just got off. This is like my first off day from Podtober and from being on outage schedule at my work, which, you know, I was working like 5/12s a week, only having 2 days off, if that. And so I was just totally exhausted. And, you know, I'm happy. I'm glad to be done with it. I will miss the big paycheck, but I'm happy to have more time for the podcast, more time for you guys, more time to just get back into the swing of things. And so we should have a lot of fun with that. I don't have another one, I think, until like March. So then we'll see what happens in March. Maybe I'll just pre-record episodes so that way it's even more relaxing for me. Anyway, this episode is brought to you by the Angry Orchard that's still inside my fridge and I need to get rid of to make room for better beer. This is my wife's stuff and I just got to get rid of it. It's pretty tasty though. Like, it's very sugary. And I'm not too big on sugary, but it's kind of refreshing at the same time. Angry Orchard. It's kind of refreshing. Anyway, this week should be a lot of fun. Not only do I have a butt ton, and I mean a literal ass ton of nifty nerd news. Like, my anaconda has had enough of these buns, ass ton of nifty nerd news, guys. And not only that, we do have an interview with artist Orlando, who we've talked to. I believe his name was Tony. Can't remember off the top of my head. I probably should just look that up. So, hey, let's go to my phone. Let's go to Webtoons, and let's look up the guys who are doing Pound. Oh, it is Tony in Orlando. So I had Tony on earlier, I think in August, about Pound. And we wanted to have Orlando on to talk, but Orlando unfortunately couldn't make it. This time around, the exact opposite. I was able to have Orlando on, but because of my own logistical problems, Tony wasn't able to stay on. And so me and Orlando had a fun conversation. Heads up, he has done some real shit in this life and as an artist and as a storyboard artist. So I'm going to lose my shit on him. So just get ready. Like, in a good way. In the best way to lose shit. Not like an angry lose shit. So super excited for you guys to listen to that interview with Orlando. That's going to be after the Nifty Nerd News. What else do I got? Oh, November 16th in Houston at Bar Bohem. It's going to be the H-Town Pod Fest meetup. A bunch of podcasters around Houston are coming together at Bar Bohem to drink, laugh, have fun, maybe record a little. Who knows what we're going to do? It's just going to be probably a chaotic mess. And it's open to anyone. Fans of all kinds of shows. We have like murder mystery shows. We have like sports shows, nerd shows, movie shows, all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, all my friends are going to be there, like Colt 45, Nerdy Bitches, Walker the Geek, Random Ramblings with Rob. We're all planning a meetup. I think Caster Quest people are going to be there. Mandy from Caster Quest. I don't know if she's going to be there, but she's always a really nice person, and we haven't really hung out yet. And even though Liz is like, oh, you guys should really hang out. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully it's a good time. Hopefully it's, you know, like I said, a chaotic mess. And that would be really great. So we're all really excited for that. Anywho, I think that's really it for just like everything that's going on. I just want to say thank you to my Patreons. Guys, I know I missed the last week and I was finishing up with the outage. I was so exhausted, so tired. I even recorded something, but I forgot to put it together and put on Patreon. So yesterday when I uploaded everything, I gave y'all 2 new episodes, and I'm going, after this recording, I'm going to record the new episode. So it's already a week ready in advance. I got a fun story to talk to you guys about. Hopefully you enjoy it. It definitely deals with my frustrations with just being exhausted. So that should be a fun story. And if that sounds like something that's interesting to you guys that you want to hear and you want to know more about my personal life and what, like, the inner workings of Bry-Fy, the comics guy, definitely sign up for my Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you get all kinds of bonus stories, podcasts, sometimes videos, pictures, just kind of whatever the hell I want to do. I know here during October, things were a little wacky. It's not going to be the same going forward. I'm going to plan a lot better when I know I got shit to do. And what's my son getting into? He's getting into something. Okay, it's not poisonous, so we're fine. So yeah, definitely sign up for Patreon. And if you don't want to support the show that way, you can always just follow on social media, on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Everything is at Bry-Fy Podcast. Share stuff that I tweet out. Interact with me. I love talking to people. I love going back and forth. I was just talking about some nifty nerd news. I was talking today on Twitter about some nifty nerd news we'll get into. So you can have some fun conversations with me that way. And that's about it. So let's get on with the nifty nerd news that we had for this week. All right, guys. Hey, we're getting back to some comic book news. Something I haven't done in a while, I feel like. So I'm really excited to be not breaking. It's not like this is breaking news. It's been out for a while now, almost a week. You know, it's like I got to change how I do the show or when I release the show, because it always feels like as soon as I record this show, that following week, or even after the episode comes out, that following Tuesday, all news breaks out. I have to wait till next Monday, and so I'm awful. I'm terrible. So follow me on Twitter. That's when I retweet timely stuff. On the show, we have late things. Anyway, it looks like Mark Millar is writing more comics. You know, he's of course come back to do sequels to his Dark Knight series, like Dark Knight Strikes Back, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, Dark Knight Returns, The Last Crusade. He's done like Superman Year One stuff. Now he's coming back to do Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. And it's going to be part of DC's Black Label, or their like mature readers imprint. And it's funny because I feel like I just talked to someone and said, oh, they got rid of that Black Label. Like, that's not a thing anymore. But I guess it still is, so I feel kind of stupid. Anyway, The Golden Child is supposed to be a direct sequel to everything that's happened in the Master Race. And it's going to focus more on Carrie Kelly, who was the Robin of the Dark Knight series. And not so much on Bruce Wayne. I really don't know too much more about all this, but it does have me pretty interested. I've really enjoyed The Dark Knight, that whole series run. An older Batman, kind of like his last hurrah in the city of trying to take care of everything, and just how society looks at him. How he's not really like, oh, it's the Caped Crusader. It's more, oh, it's that old fuck who keeps dicking around or some kind of random shit. I don't know. I haven't read it in a good minute. Hey, RJ, he's coming up behind me. Oh my God, he's touching me. What does he want? Probably wants me to stop. He's like, Dad, I'm trying to watch my YouTube videos right now. I need to know what happens to these 5 little monkeys jumping off the bed. The first 3 have fallen off and bumped their heads. I have to see what happens to the last 2. Anyway, though, it seems like some pretty cool news. Because I enjoy Miller's Batman. Like, I like this weird, dark, gritty style of Batman. I enjoy the artwork in it. It's always been really rough and just kind of cool to me. So, I don't know. I'm actually excited about this bit of news. Other Batman news, because we should definitely always talk more Batman news, is coming back to the Matt Reeves Batman. Like the movie, you know, the one that's actually starring actual Robert Pattinson, that we were kind of like, what? Like, that would be a funny thing. And I was like, hey, that would be kind of a cool thing. And it's a thing. But anyway, we got some more casting news. We had Zoe Kravitz announced last episode. This episode, it looks like, God, where is his name? Jeffrey Wright is going to be in The Batman. And not just going to be in The Batman, he will actually be playing Commissioner Gordon, which is pretty freaking awesome, man. What I know of Jeffrey Wright is like the little bit that he's done in The Hunger Games. Like, he was in the second, what was it, Catching Fire, I believe. That was the second movie. He played like this really smart guy. He was really cool. He has like this really deep, smart voice that I really enjoy. And I think he'll be an interesting Commissioner Gordon. I like all these casting choices for Matt Reeves. It's just so different. It's so no one who I would have was even on my radar for anything. But when I look at it and I think about their body of work, I'm like, I dig it. I can feel this. I am so into a Jeffrey Wright Commissioner Gordon. And I don't want him to get big and beefy like freaking J.K. Simmons. Like, I don't need that. I don't need a Commissioner Gordon that could kick my ass. I just need a smart Commissioner Gordon that can shoot a gun, can protect himself if shit goes crazy. But I think it's pretty cool. I love what Matt Reeves is doing. It's getting me more and more psyched for the Batman movie because I don't know. It seems so different. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the excitement that I had when they announced Ben Affleck and his version of Batman. Like, despite, Ben Affleck the person, Ben Affleck the actor, and what he does with that Batman, I really enjoyed that Batman. I like that version of Batman because that's very much a Dark Knight Returns version of Batman that was really cool. Whereas Robert Pattinson is definitely going to be a younger, differenter version than what we've gotten previously. I can't even remember his age. I know he's older than me. He might be in his mid to late 30s. So, it's not like he's a young Batman. It's not like it's 25-year-old Batman kicking ass, So, I don't know. We'll have to see. Speaking of that guy, though, it looks like he is leaning heavy into reading Batman comics to help him for the role, which is kind of funny because there's some directors that have really been like, don't read the comics. We're not making the comics. We're making a better version of the comics. We're making great movies. Don't read them. Ugh. But not Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is like, yes, embrace it. Feel yourself with all that knowledge and all that just material, and it's pretty cool. I dig that, I like when my actors are familiar with the comics. It makes them more familiar with the character. It gets them just more into that mindset of what they're looking for. And what's great, the comics are basically a blueprint for the character or whatever version you want to play of a character, because let's face it, there's like every version of every character out there because there's just so many comics on. Like, Batman's gone through his weird campy phase, his dark and gritty phase, his I'm not Bruce Wayne phase, like just like Batman in Hell phase, or was that Wolverine, or was it both of them? I don't know, but it's just all, I think it was Batman, and like Batman was a pirate and Batman was a samurai, all these, I don't know, it was this weird thing I saw in a comic book shop once. But there's just so much out there. It's a blueprint for actors to look at to be like, hey, this is the kind of version that we're going to try to portray, and here it is right here. Let's just read it and let's get the mannerisms. Let's get it right for our fans. And so, like, I'm into it. I'm definitely a part of this. And I feel like more people should be. I think more people should be embracing of the comic books to help tell a movie story. I'm not saying comics are better than movies, but comics have honestly laid down the groundwork for the movies. So embrace them. Hollywood, embrace them. That was a little creepy. I'm sorry. I've been drinking too much Angry Orchard hard cider. I wonder if you could hear that. Anyway, so we got this awesome announcement on Twitter and other social medias, and that's my son yelling because he's yelling shapes. It looks like Sony Picture has planned for Spider-Verse 2. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. I don't know what I was going to say that. Electric Boogaloo. I don't know. And it's coming out April 8th, 2022. That is, well, we're in 19, so we got 20 and 21. We got a long time. But that's how animation works. Animation takes a long time. And so they've already announced it, 2022. I can't be more excited. The first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is so great. It's so perfect. It won awards. Miles Morales, so lovely. Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider. Is she going to go by Ghost Spider? Like, there's going to be so much that happens from now until then. But no, you can't do that because you got to kind of write with now, animate it. So yeah, basically it's going off of how things are now in the comics. And so, I don't know. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited. If it keeps with the animation style, it's going to be great. I love all of it. I thought it was really fantastic how things were different, how things just kind of flowed, and how comic book it all felt, with the onomatopoeias and all the cool little other sound effect things that they added into there, and the way they did different colors and all that. It was just so assaulting on your senses, but in a great way, It kept you engaged. It was very engaging. It was very fun, and it was always like finding fun little Easter eggs each time like you watch it, because it was like, I feel like every time I watch it, I still watch it. It's still on Netflix. Every time you watch it, there's always something new that you come across and always something new that you find interesting. And so I was so excited for that. And I just can't wait. 2022 can't come fast enough. I just want to sleep for like maybe not 2 years, but like a year and a half. And then wake up so the excitement's real and I can see some trailers. Yeah, because you want to see trailers. You don't want to miss out on the trailers. And then we see some trailers, and then we can go into the movie on April 8th, 2022. And maybe, just maybe, things will go really smoothly, really great, and they'll push it up a little bit, just a little, just give us a little present. Maybe that Christmas, that'd be great. That's a good Christmas movie. any kind of Spider-Man movie is a good Christmas movie. Anywho, let's see. Oh, I got something weird here. Hey, Nicolas Cage is going to be in another movie because, I don't know. You just can't get enough of Nicolas Cage, I guess. No, Nicolas Cage is going to be in this crazy movie called Wally's Wonderland, which is basically like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but fucked up. So the premise of this movie is that Nicolas Cage is going to be playing a janitor, and he gets trapped in an amusement park that's full of animatronic monsters, and he's got to fight his way out. And the only picture that they show, I think it's from another movie, he looks crazy. But then again, Nicolas Cage in all his movies look pretty fucking crazy. What is it? Air One or whatever. What is that movie? Where he's in an airplane, and he's a bad guy, but he's the good guy, and then they crash it in Vegas, and then that's really all that's really all I remember of that movie. But then there's National Treasure, which is the best movie, but he's like this crazy dude who just knows all this crazy information about history, and so you're just kind of like, are you smart or are you just a little obsessed? And and then there's the one where he's like, not the bees, and then there's Ghost Rider, and then there's Kick-Ass, where he's the dad who raises his daughter to be Hit Girl, and that's pretty messed up now that you think about it, because like, why would you do that? That's your kid, it's your flesh and blood, it's the love of your life. You're gonna just teach them to put their life on the line and almost die? It's kind of fucked up in the cage, just saying. What other news do I have? Hey, The Watcher. Have you seen the trailer for The Watcher? Oh my god. It's a new trailer that just came out. It looks fucking phenomenal, guys. I cannot wait to see this. Also, I had no idea these were books. I always thought, I say The Watcher. Oh my frick. The Witcher. The Witcher. Oh my god, The Witcher. I think The Watcher is going to be a real thing. I think that's why I said it. No, but The Witcher with Superman. God, Henry Cavill. It looks awesome, man. This latest trailer that dropped that really shows a bunch of stuff in it has me so excited, so stoked. I can't wait, And it's funny because I didn't know The Witcher was a bunch of books before it was a video game. I've always thought it was just this badass video game. Unless it was a video game and then they made books based off a video game. Like with Halo, and that's possible they did at The Witcher. I guess I should look into that, but I'm not going to because I'm too excited about the freaking Netflix show that I don't have time to look shit up, okay? I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. But what's even crazier about The Witcher is that the showrunner, the writers, and all that have said, hey, we kind of have it planned out for roughly 7 seasons. Oh my god. They're already like, yeah, this is Game of Thrones worthy, like, let's just put it out there, because then, it helps just start filming. Like, we're not fucking around, so let's just get the filming and get it done and over with and tell a complete story. Netflix has all the money, so it's not like they're going to lose out on anything except when Disney Plus comes, but that's another story for another day, I guess. Delicious Angry Orchard hard cider. Refreshing. Anyway, I'm stoked. The Witcher looks so cool. It might make me go back and play the game. I think they just put it out for Witcher 3 for the Nintendo Switch. Sounds like a great reason to pick it up. I've been looking for a game, like an RPG game that kind of just really takes some time because, I finished up Breath of the Wild and then finished it up on hard mode. So, or the Master Quest, I don't remember what the hell the harder version of it is called. And so I need something. I need something to like tie me over and something new and something different. And maybe The Witcher is that game that could do it. Then get me excited for the Netflix series, which is coming out soon. Forget how soon. I mean, it's probably already released. It's the way Netflix does things. Like they just like a show me and my wife like watching called Atypical, which is about this boy with autism and his family who's kind of fucked up and all this other stuff. That just like dropped randomly. Like we weren't even prepared for it. And then Netflix just like ninja slapped it right across our faces. We were just like, what? Like that's how Netflix does their shit, man. They just assassinate you with shows. You don't even know. And then like it's even harder though to find these shows because my wife watches so many K-dramas and stuff like that. So now my feed is full of just like K-drama after K-drama. Save me. No, it's great. It's fun. They're actually really good shows, by the way. But yeah, so excited for The Witcher. Other thing that I'm pretty freaking excited for is the possibility that we'll be getting a rebooted Iron Fist. Who would have thunk? Everyone kind of hoped for it, but I don't think anyone thought Disney really had this on the table. But if the rumors are true, and let me be very clear, these are rumors at this point, but if the rumors are true, and the person who has put this out there has said that their source who gives them these rumors has been right about two other rumors, has confirmed two other rumors has released two rumors that have been confirmed already at this point. And now a third rumor is that Disney Plus is going to reboot Iron Fist for their service. And it looks like that Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, maybe even Punisher are going to make their way over to Disney Plus as well. We don't know how soon because I thought I had read somewhere that these shows had to wait 2 years after being canceled on Netflix before they could show up in anything else. That's what I thought I had read somewhere, or that's what the rumor was with them leaving Netflix. But who knows? Maybe they have shit in the works already and are filming and getting ready for it. And Disney Plus seems like the best way to do it. I mean, you have shows like Falcon Winter Soldier, the WandaVision, and what else was coming out? The Hawkeye series is going to be animated. No, the Haley Atwell Captain America was animated too. I don't remember any other live action, and it will probably come to me after I finish recording this. But I think that's a great place to add them, especially with the high chance now, the high probability that they will end up in the MCU at some point as maybe just a side character or something, because that would be freaking badass. It's something that we've been wanting forever. We were hoping to get like an Endgame. It would have been awesome if the Defenders just showed up, like just appeared out of nowhere. I mean, come on, they were like fucking up New York, so you would think the Defenders would be like, hey, maybe I should do something about that. Or like, maybe like Matt Murdock, I was like, nope, blind guy, alien, that's too much for me. I'm just going to go beat up this mugger dude. Like, who knows? I don't know. It's crazy. But I think rebooting Iron Fist is probably the best thing that you could do. It's one of the more critical shows that has been released on the Netflix series. People have had very not kind things to say about it. So I think rebooting Iron Fist can only help you. And the rumor is that they're looking to cast with like an Asian American actor, or just someone who maybe fits like a more, like, it sounds weird saying, but like a more ethnic or more like Asian person. But that sounds fucked up. Like, I don't want to say that way. I don't know, but I mean, I know the story. Danny Rand is like his family's flying in a plane and they crash. Like his family's these bunch of rich white dudes, and that's why he's white. But Oh, my son just flipped on the couch. I thought he died. He's fine, though. We're fine. Take another drink. Angry Orchard hard cider. Crisp apple. Surprisingly refreshing. No. But I think it'd be cool, do something different. I don't know, just do something different, because at this point, anything is better than the Iron Fist that they put out. And it was funny because I was talking about this on Twitter. I loved what they did with the Wards and like the whole Ward family storyline. I thought that was really fascinating. And it should have been its own show, maybe. But you have like this really interesting, intricate family drama happening, and you're ham-fisting Danny Rand and Iron Fist and these ninjas and Kunlun, and he's supposed to be like the greatest protector, but he fucking sucks at any type of martial art. So it's, I don't know, man. You tried to do too much, I think, and you took the success of Daredevil, but didn't take any of the people that worked on it that could have probably made Iron Fist great. I don't know, but the side characters were really good. Colleen was really fantastic and really great. The bad dude, he was actually really cool and really enjoyable. And so it's like you had all these great performers, but your main character and his story was just not good enough, and it really hurt the series and kind of sucked, man. And it kind of sucked that the Defenders really played off of what was still going on with like Iron Fist. And so you kind of got Iron Fisted there, like it sucked. But who knows? Disney Plus could be Danny Rand's saving grace and really fix things for Iron Fist. So we'll see. I'm excited. If the Defenders are truly coming to Disney Plus and are truly reuniting and feeling so good, I'm all aboard for that. And I mean, even if they're not, I really want that. So Disney, make it happen, please. Anywho, that's going to be it for the Nifty Nerd News, guys. I want to thank you for sticking around. We did talk for a little bit. This episode probably going to be a lot longer than normal episodes, but that's because we have a great interview. So sit back, relax. We're going to take a short break here, listen to one of my favorite podcasts, and then get into the interview with Orlando and talk about his Webtoons comic, Pound.
Hey, this is Liz.
Hey, this is Heather.
And we are Nerdy Bitches Podcast.
A show where two geeky ladies podcast their way through pop culture.
From movies and TV to our regular book club and everything in between, we bring you our favorite fandoms with a feminine eye.
We are talking Star Wars, Star Trek, DC Marvel, comic books, and anime.
And don't forget sci-fi, fantasy, action movies, video games, D&D, board games, and so much more.
Be sure to check us out on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever you find awesome podcasts.
You can also find us hanging out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and at nerdybitches.com.
See you soon.
Actually, I was reading a lot of your stuff today, the new series of Pound and everything, trying to just get reacquainted with it and then catch up with everything that was new today, or what I've missed since this past October, because y'all have released, 4 or 5 episodes now?
Yeah, I think we released 4 episodes on the regular thing, and then like 3 more on the Fast Pass.
That's crazy, man. And that's so cool about Webtoons. I've talked about it a little bit with Tony, but that they have a free and a paid version that allows you, I mean, it gives you good bonuses with the paid version, but being able to just pick up Webtoons, anyone, and not have to put a credit card on it or anything like that, and to read these fantastic stories has been probably my favorite thing of this app.
Yeah. I think that's a good mix, because you can hit all types of people in the audience. So
definitely, and Webtoons has been so fantastic for finding new things. It's something that I feel like is a breath of fresh air when it comes to comics and Webtoons and our webcomics and things of that nature, graphic storytelling.
Yeah.
And Pound's been... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was gonna say, yeah, the way they have their comics set up and the way that they kind of promote everything and release and announce all the comics, I think they do a tremendous job because not a lot of people do it as well as they do, I feel.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's definitely like as easy as Netflix or IMDb or, just something that's so simple to navigate. And it helps that, they got great creative teams, such like Tony and you, Orlando, putting out great content. Pound's been magnificent to read.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, you've been doing the art for a while now, right? Since episode 1?
Yeah, actually, so Pound was I'm like one of the co-creators of Pound with my writing partner Luke Lancaster. We were the two that did the Bad Guys on Webtoon in 2016-17, and so this is our second comic on Webtoon, and it wasn't until me and Luke did the first season of Pound, and then for the second season he had to step down from writing duties. So that's when I had already worked a little bit with Tony. He had edited some of my comics, and I really liked how he wrote and just his work ethic and everything. He's very professional and turns in stuff like super quick. So I decided to just ask him if he was willing to like come on board as a writer for the season. And so I've been working with him for this second season, but. Luke and I have been the ones kind of developing the general like story arc, and so for the second season we did the same thing. Like me and him kind of sat down, we did a little bit of back and forth between us as far as like the whole outline for the second season, and then with also Tony, like he had some input in there as well, and then he kind of actually went back and kind of just kind of spruced it up a little bit, just made it pop more in certain areas and edited and revised the outline, and then once that got approved, we've just been like nonstop working on the second season.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, things are really tight, especially right from the like season 2 opening or preview or premiere. There you go. What the hell was I thinking? From the premiere, man, things kick off right where we left off. They're in the middle of a fight. I forgot the main character's name right already, but he finds out Leo. There he goes.
Yeah. I
was like, Lion. He's some badass. Yeah. He finds out more information about his uncle, and I mean, things just take off from there. I just love the pacing of this book, man. The fighting is always a lot of fun and done so well. I feel like there's plenty of breathing room to just help the story flow easily. Like some comics you read and you look through like the fight scenes, and sometimes it gets like, well, how the hell are they doing this, man? Like, this isn't Spider-Man. Yeah, but definitely this has great motion to it, which I love. It's easy to follow. It flows really well. And that's just art, man.
Oh yeah. No, but I actually I think I got to give it up to Tony as well, because the way he's been able to structure the episodes, I think he's got like a really good sense of balance in between scenes of heavy dialogue and kind of exposition to scenes of minimal dialogue and a lot more action and fighting and just visual storytelling. So I feel like he has a good sense of that, and the way he's split up the episodes and what occurs and the scenes, I think it's just like spot on. So it has a good rhythm to it. It has a good balance. And that was one of the things that we wanted to make sure, like kicking off the season. The first season, I think we tried to introduce too many things at one time, and we were kind of a little bit all over the place. So for the second season, our goal was, okay, like let's make sure everything gets kind of explained from the get-go, kind of like set up everything, where we were, and what's coming up for this new season. And then from there, we've just been, nonstop, like just going at it, and kind of just going with the flow of the story.
Yeah, definitely. It does feel tighter, the storytelling, following Leo. You can definitely see how the story maybe not changed, but definitely has a different focus or more of a focus.
Yeah,
with Leo.
I think that's a great way to put it. Is more of a focus. Like that's definitely what we were trying to do. Is like, okay, what is the story, the exact story that we're trying to tell, and how can we focus on that? And our main focus has been, or we wanted it to make sure that it was always Leo and his struggles to try to like piece together his family, with his missing uncle, but also, having him deal with the whole underground fighting, and then his abilities and his disease as well as his brother's disease. So it's kind of like him trying to piece, the whole season is him trying to piece together his life back to what it used to be. So
Yeah, totally. And like I'm looking through some of these. I'm on right now. Which one am I looking at? Episode 32, when they looks like a mansion, like this Japanese mansion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's a scene where all three of them are walking down this staircase, and it's kind of winding. They're talking. How important is it that like Webtoons allows you this type of format versus like when you look at maybe normal or American comics, they kind of fit like a box format, like either like a 6x4, they have a certain way, but I feel like Webtoons allows you to freeform it a little bit, give it like I said, breathing space, to allow these pictures to have movement.
Yeah, I think definitely one of the biggest differences with Webtoon is it's just the pacing. I think once you can kind of slow down the pacing and control what the viewer sees panel per panel, it gives you that freedom of being able to like slowly introduce things and kind of I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, to me, it feels a more just of a sense of being able to focus on one thing and being able to kind of what's the word, kind of show off or reveal things in the pace that you want to tell your story. So yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of a different mindset, and the way I've described it to people, because my background is in storyboarding for like television, for animation, and so it kind of reminds me a lot of a mixture between like the pacing and storyboarding for animation, and then like it's somewhere halfway between comics and animation basically. So it's not like that very fast paced, or sometimes like in comics I feel like a lot of information gets told in the gutters. There's a lot of left up to your imagination. Whereas animation, a lot of things, you tend to see more of what's going on, and things get shown to you a lot more. And I feel like Webtoons kind of falls in between those two, where it has a little bit of both worlds, especially in the sense of like being able to focus the viewer on one thing at a time. I think that's really pivotal to the way Webtoons functions.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you brought up that you worked on storyboards, because I've always you hear people always talk about, well, like storyboarding is just comics, or like comics is just storyboarding.
Oh yeah, no.
But yeah, and so like I've always wanted to pick someone's head about that. Like, I mean, is there even any remotely kind of similarity, like, or is it just really just like people not getting it, like getting the difference between the two?
No, I mean, I think definitely they're both in the world of sequential art. So it's definitely visual storytelling through a sequence of images. It's just a differentiation in the sense that with storyboarding, you have a control of your audience for like television or animation, because the viewer can only see one kind of one panel at a time, basically. Whereas with comics, you're playing around with a lot more things. Like you're playing around with page layout, with the page design, so that you can always have like a reveal every time people want to turn the page. So you have a lot of more like little elements that you have to play around with. And then also too, I think because of that, because of those limitations, the pacing is just a little different. You could spend a long time on a single panel and just repeat it a lot in a comic page, but that usually doesn't happen, or unless it's specific to the story. Whereas with TV and with animation, it's things just get presented in a slower, more like drawn out method. So yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities. There's definitely like a basis, but then there's a lot of differences in as far as like what you can do to achieve like a successful story, quote unquote. Yeah.
No, man, it's successful. No quote about it. It's just fact right there, man. And I agree. I think Pound's one of those successful ones too, man. What you and Tony are doing over there, it's great, dude. I dig it a lot. But talking about like, so you worked in TV or?
Yeah. So yeah, my background is like I studied illustration in college, but then I wound up working in animation in Atlanta. I worked for sorry, my mind is like
no,
slipping,
dude,
but no,
you're totally good.
Yeah, I worked for 7030 Productions in Atlanta, and we worked on a show called Frisky Dingo for Adult Swim.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't storyboard that one. At that time I was working as an illustrator, and then and then from there we did the Exticle spinoff, and then I actually started storyboarding once we went on to do Archer, and then that's like when I got my start in storyboarding, and then ever since then I've been storyboarding. I storyboarded a couple of other shows like Unsupervised and China, Illinois, and mostly it was like Adult Swim stuff or FX or Fox. And then lately I've been sticking more to just webtoons, but I still storyboard for like smaller studios doing kind of explainer videos. And kind of more videos for advertising and that type of thing. But
if you could see my face right now, you just melted my mind. Because like, you're naming all these shows that I love, dude.
Sweet.
Me and my wife are huge fans of Archer, and to know that you got to storyboard some of those stuff, man, it's great. Were you part of any like the new stuff that they were doing, like the spin-offs and the like Vice and all this other crazy stuff?
No. So like I was part of the crew that did the pilot. We did the pilot in Atlanta. We were only like I think 8 people in a house working on the pilot.
Holy crap!
And then once FX picked it up, it just blew up, and so the studio like they hired like 100 or I don't know how many people they have now. Like it's crazy big, and
dude,
I actually I storyboarded with them for I think it was the first 2 seasons. If I'm like my mind's a blur now, but it was just at the beginning.
That's still badass, dude. Like you set the foundation for that show, you know, and then like you're naming stuff like China, Illinois. Like I can't stop singing that song every now and then. Like this that stupid like China, Illinois. Like it's so crazy, and it's awesome that you've been a part of like some of what I think is some of like the funniest animation like of our generation, like growing up. And
I mean, I've kind of hopped around. Like I didn't really stick around like crazy long on any one project, but it was kind of at a time where I was taking on a lot of various freelance. And so I got to episode, I think I don't remember how many episodes of China, Illinois. It was like 1 or 2, but then it was other small stuff that I did around that time as well.
It's crazy. Like you're like, oh, this was just a small thing that I've done, Archer, and like these great Adult Swim shows, man, and FX, and I think that's an amazing thing to have to your credit on. Forget Pound. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I always get surprised who recognizes those, because sometimes people don't know. Like they're like, I don't know. Especially like when I first started and I was working on Frisky Dingo, like nobody knew anything about Frisky Dingo, but like it's funny because it kind of became like a cult, like under the rug type of show.
Oh,
like
definitely.
And like so nowadays when I mention Frisky Dingo and somebody like realizes, like they pick up on it, they're like, oh my god, like they go crazy. It's like it's just kind of like a night and day reaction where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I worked on Frisky Dingo. Like, oh my god, what? Like, they just go crazy. Yeah. No,
that's
it's funny.
That's so awesome though, man.
Yeah, it's funny where you like. I think when I was overseas, I even mentioned at that time I was working on Archer, And I mentioned it, and people were like, "Oh my God, Archer! Yeah, like we see it." Like, and I'm like, "How do you even see it overseas? I didn't even know it was coming out over here." So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's crazy to think. Like at one point, it was like, oh, this little thing that I did, but like you said, man, Archer, Frisky Dingo, China, Illinois, like they all have huge cult followings, and I know I see a lot of people where I'm from. I'm from around Houston, Texas. The last big convention we had here, people were cosplaying as like the Doctor and Archer. They'll do the crazy receptionist. I can't even think of their names right now. My mind.
Pam.
Yeah, Pam. Like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I don't know, man. Just thank you. Being a part of that team, like that's amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed working with all those people. It was
Dude,
really cool.
that's freaking awesome. But let's get back to Pound, man. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm having a little moment now. You know, I'm having my little starstruck moment, right? But so I mean, you guys chose to take like a small hiatus in the Pound. I'm trying to. How long was that y'all kind of took a break?
I want to say it was like 3 months. It was weird because we didn't actually, like, on the production end, we didn't take a break. I think like right after we finished the first season, I started like the next week I started back up on the second season of Pound.
Oh damn!
And so yeah, like we haven't really gone on a break as far as the production side. So that's why I can't remember exactly how long it was of a break. Yeah. We just kept working through it, especially because we knew we were going to be up with the Fast Pass access this time. So we had to be like significantly ahead. So yeah, like right now I think we are about like 10 episodes ahead of the Fast Pass. So
okay.
Yeah.
Dang, man. I feel like that, like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, for me as a reader, that's awesome. But then I think about for you guys as a creative team, now it's like you have to work even further ahead to make sure you stay ahead, you know, because, I mean, those delays could kill you, you know?
No, exactly. But I think that's the thing, like, even without the Fast Pass, I think it's better. It's always best to be ahead of publishing, just because you never know when things happen. I mean, life is crazy and unexpected things pop up, so it's always good to be ahead. And I think the hiatus definitely helped us to be able to, you know, kind of jump ahead a little bit. And now is just trying to maintain that rhythm so that we don't get so that we're able to, like, basically finish the rest of the season before Fat Pass catches up.
Yeah, definitely. And, like, when y'all decided to take this hiatus from putting it out, but still working behind the scenes, did y'all ever get, like, nervous? Like, well, what if we lose some people? Like, I mean, is that ever a thought whenever you do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always in the back of your mind, because you want to keep the momentum going. Webtoons is always really good at kind of mentoring their creators, their talent. Mm-hmm. So they have told us, like, you know, especially like with the Bad Guys, where it was our first comic. It was always like making sure that they advised us not to take a break, or if we had to take a break, not to make it too long, just to keep the audience going.
Yeah.
But for Pound, it was just they actually were like, hey, don't let's wrap up the first season and then go on hiatus, which I think is becoming kind of like a norm. A lot of the Webtoons comics, they tend to do hiatuses between seasons, and it definitely helps you build up that buffer. Yeah. So well, I think it was just one of those things where, like, you know, if we felt we were at a good place to wrap up the first season, and it gave us a little bit of time to focus and reevaluate what the story we were trying to tell was, so that we could come in a lot stronger for the second season.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, and I think you're right. I think you guys do come a lot stronger with this second season. And what I love about Webtoons, and it helps me as a reader know how well a comic is doing is that people could put comments at the end of each little episode that you guys put out. And I mean, there's interaction there. You know, there's people excited that Pound's back. There's people laughing at moments that happen. I mean, that's got to make you guys feel good, you know, seeing people get the gags, feeling the feelings. Like, I mean, does something like that help y'all going into maybe where you're at now? Like, hey, they really dug this, or, oh, they have no idea this is coming up. Like, you know, do y'all play off those comments?
Definitely. I think that's one of the things that I was talking to other creators at Webtoons about. The big difference with Webtoons as well with regular comics is that regular comics, you could be working for months and months and not hear any feedback except from your editor or your other creative partners. But with Webtoons, the fact that you can release an episode and right away you have like huge amounts of comments. I mean, and sometimes like I don't even understand how some of the audience can read the episode so fast because they're commenting like instantly. So it's crazy, but I think it's awesome and for us as creators because we feed off of that. Like whenever we see really supportive comments, or sometimes even some of the critical comments will help us out if they're done, you know, in good taste. We've had people kind of point things out, and we're like, oh, you know, yeah, we should reevaluate this. Or I think one of the biggest things that I remember some of the people in the comments had told us in the first season was they weren't really fans of having panels that were kind of forcing them to flip their phone on its side, kind of like in landscape. Oh yeah,
something like the vertical panels.
Yeah. So they were like, oh, like a lot of the comments were about that. Were like, oh, like maybe try to limit the amount of panels. And then we rethought our the way we did the layouts and stuff. And I think that's one of the things that we've kind of like kind of reverted on, is to try not to use those type of panels. But it's just even just good feedback. It just motivates you. The only thing that I could see is that it's a little tricky is the fact that we're so far into production that if we do get a comment about something that we can't change, then it's unfortunate, because then, like, you know, the next couple of episodes are going to still have that whatever it is. But no, for the most part, it's really good, positive feedback, and is very encouraging. And even seeing, like, I've even had people write me outside of Webtoons, like either on Instagram or through email, and to hear them say, you know, yeah, this is my favorite comic, or this is the comic that I look forward to on a daily basis. Or some people have even told me, like, oh, I took up kickboxing because of your comic, and I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. That's amazing. So yeah, I think it's been really positive.
Your comic is so good, it got me to get outside and do something.
Yeah. Hey, if that's what it takes, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome, man. It's great getting to hear you know, talk about the behind the scenes stuff and kind of the process. But you and Tony actually do a podcast where you kind of talk about this stuff, right? Like, you guys actually get together and talk.
Yeah, so we just jumped into the whole podcasting thing because what we've been trying to do for the second season is just find ways of how we can promote the comic ourselves and not just solely rely on Webtoons marketing. So so that part of that was doing a podcast, and we kind of just started up for fun, kind of like an excuse for him and me to just kind of talk. And we've actually had a lot of fun. So we keep putting out episodes, and and for some reason we get a lot of subscribers from France. So I don't know why, but Tony was like, he messaged me the other day. He was like, dude, we got like double the downloads in France. And I was like, what? Like,
did any of y'all have connections to France, or?
No, not at all. Like, I always tell him, like, we need to learn how to speak French.
That's crazy, man. Like, I mean, I detect an accent in your voice, but I didn't think it was French.
No. Yeah, I'm Colombian. I was born in Colombia, and English is my second language, but I learned it. I mean, I came to the States when I was 6.
Oh yeah, so you're American.
Yeah, I think like my brain is just like so confused. Sometimes like the wires get crossed, and you know, but
definitely.
I survive.
Right, right. I mean, hey, you made it here. You're being successful. You're living the dream, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's always crazy for me too, because I'm actually I'm Hispanic, but I was born in Texas, raised in Texas, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but I've never learned Spanish really, other than like going through school and learning that. But when people see me all the time, like they assume I speak Spanish because of how I look, and so I'll
Oh,
get that a
yeah.
lot. Like I'll have people come up to me and start just going off in Spanish. But I think what makes it worse is I do know enough to answer in English. Like, like I can hear someone
Okay.
talking to me and I can be like, oh yeah, no, you can go that way. But like I can't speak it. So people like, I don't know, I think they think I'm trolling them or something. Like I'm not really sure. And so, I mean, it's like sometimes I get it. Like I get that feeling of being here, but some people maybe like treating you differently for some reason. Like I don't know. I've never gotten it because
Yeah.
to me, Texas, USA has always been just so diverse. It's been so culturally diverse, people diverse that I don't know. It's just amazing, and it's really awesome. Just
Yeah.
getting to meet people like you, people like Tony, just everyone, man. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's what at least in my experience with just working in comics, a lot of my work that I've had for comics has been through the internet. Like, so I've met people like literally from all over the world. I mean, my writing partner on Pound and the Bad Guys, Luke, he's actually from Australia, and we've been working together online since 2013.
Oh, wow.
And and it wasn't until 2016 that we actually met in person, because up to that point it had been just emails and Skype calls. So and it's kind of the same thing like with Tony. I've only seen him on Skype, and we've talked on a lot of email and phone calls back and forth. But yeah, it's just the thank God for the internet, because it just makes the world access to any place in the world just at your fingertips. So
yeah. Be honest. When you met Luke, were you like, "This is not what I imagined"? No.
Well, I mean, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, so when I saw him, I mean, he's a little taller than me, so I was like, oh, damn it.
No.
Yeah, no, you got to be shorter than me. No.
Like I've
no,
told myself
he was
this whole
actually-
time.
Yeah, no, what I was telling people, like, it was weird because like when we met in person, I mean, I don't know, there was just something about like the fact that we had been we collaborate very well together, and I think with Tony I do as well. And it's just once you get into kind of like the collaboration spirit, and you kind of can feed off of each other's energy and the way each other thinks, I think you developed a relationship that it's hard to put into words. But when I saw him in person, it felt like I've known him for years, like in person, like it didn't feel weird, awkward. I thought it was going to be a little bit awkward and stuff, but maybe it was just that connection that we had creatively that just helped form that bond, that when we saw each other in person, it was like, okay, yeah, you're cool. Like,
Yeah, definitely, man. It's funny because now that's a thing for us as humans. You'll connect with someone online, you'll have your jokes, it'll be really great, and you guys mesh real well together. And then you meet in the real world, IRL, and it's like a first date. Like all of a sudden, it's like you forget the years of playing Halo together or collaborating on stuff, and then it's like you just meet this person for the first time, and it's funny that nowadays that's kind of what it's like versus hell when I was in high school the internet wasn't huge like that. I mean, we had like Yahoo chat and stuff like that, but we weren't actively going out meeting people growing up. So like to think from there, from my perspective as a high schooler to where I am now, I would have never seen anything like I would have never been like, oh, I have exclusive online friends. And like I don't know, it's just funny, man, thinking about all that crap and like talking about it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like, it's just like a different way of being. But yeah, when you're actually able to find the right like collaborators and partners, yeah, it's seamless even when you meet in real life.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you and Tony, man, you guys are seamless in your storytelling. Pound is hitting hard season 2. I definitely. Pound for pound, it is no
Yeah.
bad puns. But I love what you guys are doing over here. It's really amazing.
Sweet.
I'm really happy I got a chance to talk to you this time around.
Yeah.
Sucks that Tony couldn't stick around, but that's on me. I fully take blame for that one. But at the same time, I got to talk to him last time. I don't need him again. No, I was kidding.
Yeah. It's not like he's ever gonna hear this.
Yeah, no. I'll figure out a way to block just Tony, where everyone else in the world can hear it, but for whatever reason, every time he hears it, it's like just screeches and dial-up
Like
tones.
static.
Yeah, just something crazy like that. Like he's entering the Matrix.
Yeah.
Just something crazy like that, man. But hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll wrap things up because I've taken too much of your time.
No. Thank you.
And,
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally, Orlando. It's been a blast. I love Pound. Everyone, check it out on Webtoons. We're up to episode 34, I think, for the free side.
Yeah, 34.
Yeah. And then also check out your guys' podcast, man. What is it called, actually?
It's called the Pound Podcast.
Okay, and you guys can find it on like Apple, Spotify, Overcast.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, all
sweet,
of those.
man. Definitely. Okay, I was trying to remember, like, because there's so many out there now, like so many friggin' podcatcher apps. Like, it's crazy trying to think. Well, like, where do I put my show? Where do I host it from? And like all the decisions that you have to make when doing all this stuff, man.
Yeah, no, we're lucky that, or at least I'm lucky that Tony has been handling a lot of that, and he found a place where he can kick it out to like multiple places at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah, it worked out.
I'm gonna have to hit him up now and get his trade secrets.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you once again coming on the show, man. Just such a pleasure to talk with you, and we'll can't wait to see where Pound goes next.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.